Not like some of the things that Dumpster did to people. And, honestly, when I co-hosted a show with her, I really did start drinking because it was so hideous behind the scenes. And I should have just told her to fuck off. And, and I don't normally curse, but I should have done that. I'm an authentic person, and I can't. It's hard for me to comprehend doing the things that she did on that show. Just awful. How nice, and I'm talking about she would be so nice to them on the show, and then we would go to this place called the Green Room where only she and I could hear each other, and the audience could not. When she puts a show on or a song on, because she's doing something else, and she would tell me what a piece of crap they were. I'm cleaning up the language. It was just so mean-spirited. I mean, it's just mean. And I don't think mean people go far in life unless you're a dictator. And there's not that many dictators around the world. There's just not. So, it's a limited field that you're playing in if you're going to be a mean and bad person. But are there really bad people? No, I think we're people that make bad choices, like Alley Top, and that unfortunate thing with Chris Top. And, I think Alley is a really good name. I like that name. It's her God-given name. And at that time, she got involved. It's a Spreaker host got involved with another Spreaker host. But he was like twice her age, and she had just turned 18, like the month before. So, of course, he asked her to come to her home. And, she talked about this online quite a bit. And, if you're away from him, I'm happy for you. But I didn't tell her, don't do it, because she didn't ask me if she should do that. But I did listen. I listened. Because I thought, her grandmother was dying. Her grandmother had died, which she talked about online also. So I'm not saying anything that no one else knew. I just think people like Chris Top that appear to be capitalizing on another person's pain and anguish when they're vulnerable, that's just not a good person. And again, I just said that I don't think there's bad people. But somehow, I think if a adult or a person that sees another person hurting in such anguish, such deep despair, which she was, and they capitalize on it, they take advantage of that person, maybe there's something not right with that person. I have a very dim view of pedophiles. And I think when someone's in such a hurting condition that they're of diminished capacities at that point in their life. And if she's really gotten away from him, then kudos to her. Kudos to her. And she's a young one. She's 19, and eventually she'll figure out how life really works. And, even if she doesn't, I think she will always have a good time. And I could not hate on that at all. I'm a short-sighted hedonist, right? Yeah. Well, I don't know if you guys can hear me or not, so I'm on a phone and everybody's somewhere else. Oh my goodness, people. It's 12:17. I still have phone calls to make. But life is good. I did get a, what do you call that? A profile on an adult site called FetLife, F-E-T, and then Life. I'm enjoying it. And, there's not a lot of judgment there, but there sure is here. And I've even expressed judgment on this show that I've created. I do not enjoy tearing another person down. May I give them a hard time? Sure, I'll do that. But will I tear them down? No. Now, I know Dumpster is just chimping. Well, she did this, she did that. And there's a long history there that a lot of people on Spreaker have no idea. I mean, this woman, I've been told that she's driven by my place. This is when she was doing a podcast that she was up here for 4 weeks. And just to give you background, Guy Shay, on that statement I made, I was in the judge's chambers today, y'all. That's a direct quote from one of her shows on Blog Talk Radio, where she was telling everyone that she was getting a quote-unquote restraining order. Now, let it be known that where I live, you can only get a protective order. You cannot get a restraining order. And she could not even get the verbiage right. But at that point, a woman that has access to many weapons, loaded or not, you have to judge and consider how crazy is the dumpster. How crazy is she? And I have people calling me, she drove past your place. She did this, she did that, And I had to err on the side of caution, and I sent my children away for 3 weeks because of this woman. There's all different types on Spreaker. I like informative shows. I love the AP line. I really like to listen to that. They're pretty short. I enjoy them. Are they called the Young Turks? They're here now. And, sometimes I even like the News Guy show of late, and until he did that really creepy show with the dumpster. And that was just all kinds of strange and weird. And, I didn't know he was such a submissive guy. And he's not a cuckold. I mean, you guys really don't understand that concept. You don't get it. He just wants to worship somebody, kiss the boots, lick the leather, and other places. So why don't we just let him? If it makes him happy, let him do it. That's what I say. I think he's got some poor taste there, but, if it makes him happy, let him do it. You guys are giving him a hard time. This Alice Wayne guy, or I'm sorry, it's not Alice. I'm so sorry. Alan Wayne. He has a unique perspective on a number of different topics. And that's when I think it's really being berated, and hogtied with your words. Why not let him just do him? And if he slammed on you, then say a few words back, but then that's it. Some people have different conditions, and maybe it's difficult for them to call into your show. And maybe he's one of those people, without revealing too much, but he has talked about his ADHD on Spreaker before. So, my ex-fiance, he has ADHD, and brilliant man. I mean, and we're talking really smart man, an attorney. He's had so many successful businesses and sold them. The company that he's CEO of at this point, it was so in the red, and now it's producing such a profit that the lady doesn't want to sell the company anymore. Her husband had passed away, and then it kind of went down the tubes because she didn't know what she was doing. But he turns companies around. I mean, it's pretty cool. What is that noise? It's your what? Whose birthday? See, I'm on my daughter's phone. This is almost 2. Let's see, whose birthday? I don't even know who this person is. Delaney? Who the hell is Delaney? Let's look at the chat log, shall we? I'm going to spy on my daughter's phone. Let's see here. Oh, really? Huh. Yeah. Oh, it was when she was shopping. Okay, now I get it. Now I get it. She has this really, old English font on here. The Mall of America. Oh, then they argued about Black Friday. Well, it sounds like a nice person, whoever this Delaney guy is. Oh, a theater student? Huh. This is so bad. I hope she doesn't listen to this show. I don't even know who he is. Don't judge me. Oh, my gosh. Drake. I don't get all this fairy stuff. I just don't. Please don't hesitate to cut him. Oh my gosh. Tormenting the doormat? Oh my God. I'm going to have a discussion with her. Oh, I think she's being literal about tormenting a doormat for a video. Okay, let's see here. Oh, well, she's talking about studying. This isn't a bad guy. Geometry? Oh, this is when she was taking her test. See, my daughter was homeschooled for quite a while. Let's see, how do I get that back down? My daughter was homeschooled for quite a while, and going to a public high school, they would only take certain homeschool schools, online schools rather. And it always had to be the public school online school, which was not homeschool. That was a public school. And we had done a few online schools, and I was really upset that they wouldn't take the Shakespeare credit for British literature, which I had paid quite a bit of money for her to take this semester. Not this semester, but the semester she took. It cost a lot of money, and it was a intense credit. He taught at a college, and it was a college level course, but it was used as British literature for a homeschool transcript for fulfillment of that. And for those people who do not understand how people are homeschooled, we use co-ops. When the child turns 14, if they've made a high enough score on their ACT, which you can start taking at 13 years old, by the way, you can go on to college, and just some states will actually pay the tuition and you have to pay the books, and it's a pretty good deal. And by the time they're done with high school, they have an associate's degree. So, but my child had a hard time with independent study. Translation, she was lazy. But she had high school credits that they wouldn't take. So long story short, she has to take all these tests to show that she knows the material, but they're like the English one, which she did pass, barely. It had a lot of mice and men, Steinbeck's book of mice and men, which she had not read. But she was able to pass it, to make a passing grade, and she got that credit. So, I'm not too happy with the Oklahoma schools right now, but, she's making really good test scores, and it's working. It's just tedious, because you can only take so many at one time. So, and I don't know. I mean, how many high school kids do you know that, well, I'm tooting my own horn here. I'm very happy. Very well pleased with my child. But if I was going to give any advice about your child as a student, is to expect more out of your child. Because if you do not expect more out of your child, who will? The teacher will not. You really have to put the pressure and the expectation and make clearly defined boundaries and expectations for that child. Discuss them, that, a C is not good enough, a B is not good enough, only A's are good enough. If the child is capable of doing that, you should always expect the best out of your child. If you do expect the best, usually they'll deliver. If you expect the worst of your child, the child will deliver. So I'm just saying, when Guy Shea's daughter